Hi, I've moved everything around, and I'm trying to find a proper spot to actually do these videos. I wanted to talk about what to do when you are starting a meditation practice and you're finding the whole process of the thoughts just running through your mind very difficult, because I've seen a lot of questions on forums from beginners, and it's all the same thing really. They're saying that they're trying to meditate, but all of these thoughts just keep rushing through their minds. How can they stop it? Are they doing it wrong? And also a lot of people who are finding that this is happening, and then during their meditation they're becoming anxious. So first of all, yes, it's normal. When you first start meditating, you don't realize it when you're not meditating, but constantly throughout the day, thoughts are rushing through your mind. You're constantly thinking about different things, and these thoughts just keep switching and swapping between thoughts. And 1 minute you're thinking of Aunt Mary again, and the next thing you're thinking about what you're going to have for lunch, and then you're thinking about if you replied to that email correctly, and just tons and tons of thoughts that just every second just keep switching and swapping. But we only really come to realize how busy our heads are and how loud our heads are until we actually sit down and try and quiet the mind. And we think that as soon as we sit down and we start a meditation practice, that you're not going to have all these thoughts running through. The first meditation you actually do is going to just quiet the mind, but it doesn't happen that way. It takes practice and it takes time. So yes, the crazy train running through your head with all the thoughts is very normal. It happens to everybody, and all you do is just keep practicing every day, and eventually it starts to quieten down. And especially if you do mindful meditation, you'll find that it'll quieten down and it'll become less hectic, less chaotic. But the anxious part, a lot of people try and force themselves to stop these thoughts happening, because the instructions usually say you need to focus on one thing only and reject all of the thoughts. Reject all of the sensations, reject all of the feelings. But what the instructions usually don't say is that you have to actually just allow it to happen. You can't force it. Try not to force it, because what happens is when you try and force it, it becomes an addiction. So you get addicted to trying to force these thoughts out of your head, the emotions away from you, all of the physical sensations, the noises around you. You try and force these things away from you so that you can get into that one-pointed meditation state. And through that forcing, you then become anxious because it doesn't happen. And then you start blaming yourself, you start telling yourself you're useless, you start telling yourself you can't do this, and then you stop practicing. But if you carry on practicing, it happens again. All the thoughts just start racing through. You think, I can't do this, I'm useless. And you try and force it, and it doesn't happen, it doesn't go away. And then anxiety starts to come up. And that is obviously counter to what you're trying to do. So instead of trying to force these thoughts away, just let them come. Just let the thought arise, acknowledge it, see it for what it is, it's just a thought, and then just let it go. The next one will come, just let it come up, let it arise, and just gently let it go. You don't need to force it, just acknowledge it. Acknowledge it's there, be mindful of it. That's what mindfulness is all about, being mindful. It's non-judgmental. Concentration, on the other hand, is a forced practice. So they both kind of go hand in hand. So while you're trying to concentrate on your one-pointed meditation, your one-pointed thing, whether it's your breath, whether it's a particular chant, whatever that one-pointed thing may be, while you're trying to concentrate on that, and you're trying that is forceful, you are still going to get these thoughts that come up, and it's going to draw your attention away from what you are concentrating on. But when that happens, those thoughts come up, and then you use mindfulness. So you acknowledge the thought, you become mindful of the thought. It's know it, see it for what it is, and let it go. And you just keep doing that. After you've let it go, then you come back to the focus, the concentration of the thing you're concentrating on. Breath through the nostrils, tip of the nostril, or the tip of the nose, belly moving in and out, as I say, a chant, whatever that one thing that you're concentrating on may be. And so you know it, you see it, you let it go. And you just keep doing that. And what you'll find is that over time, that whole process of you acknowledging the thought, seeing it for what it is, and letting it go, it may be a long period of time. I mean, you could hold on to a thought for 2, 3, 4 minutes maybe before you let it go. But then it becomes less and less and less until it becomes seconds, and then it happens instantaneously. The thought comes up, you acknowledge it, you see it for what it is, it's just a thought, let it go. And it's instantaneous, it happens within a split second. And then what you can do then is obviously keep your concentration more focused, because you're just letting those thoughts just go. You're being mindful of them, you're acknowledging them, but they go into the background. And so they don't become as hectic, as chaotic. But really don't try and force it. Don't blame yourself, don't think that you're useless, because all you're doing is doing what every other meditator has done before. You're starting a meditation practice, and kudos for that, because it's something that's really going to help you. But you just need to stick at it and just let these things happen, and over time you get better at it. Something else that might actually help, if you're finding that if you're doing something like mindful, like Vipassana meditation, where you're concentrating on a spot in your nostril, and you find that your attention keeps getting drawn away by thoughts, and you're doing this mindfulness, and you can't keep going back to the mindfulness of your breath. But what might actually help is if you actually take a 2-syllable word and you mentally you can chant it or just say it. One good one is Bud Ho. So it's the 2 syllables of Bud and then Do. So as you breathe in, you just mentally think Bud, and then as you breathe out, you mentally say Do. And you keep doing that in and out, and that brings your attention to a mental sound almost, and that becomes your focus. And you can also then keep focus on your nose or belly, whatever it may be, easier. You'll probably find that this helps a bit. And after a while, after doing that during your meditation, then you can actually stop doing it, and you'll probably find that your focus stays longer on that one-pointed thing. And if you do find that actually helps, then maybe have a look into chanting or mantra meditation. The actual sound, actually chanting the sound itself, it could keep your attention focused for a lot longer and dispel those thoughts and this physical sensations from the senses. You become more, you go inward. It's all about going inward, and this usually helps. So just a couple of things I thought I'd mention that might help. But seriously, first thing to do is just not blame yourself. Don't beat yourself up just because you're getting this train of thoughts that are rushing through your head. It happens to everybody. So that's it for today, and I'll see you on Friday. Thanks. Cheers.